first of all, I want your calls on this. Should there be fines for playing music out loud on buses and trains? 0207 862 2222 is the number. How many times have you been in a situation like this one, where you're just trying to get from A to B, but a fellow passenger's playing their awful music at full tilt without a headphone in sight? Well, as tempting as it is to do this, that's only going to get you in trouble. A more civilised idea might be to introduce large and instant fines, as suggested by Tory MP and former Minister Neil O'Brien. It's a move he thinks could make Britain feel vaguely civilised. And hang on, I think this is my stop. Just stop a minute. Stop. OK, so would it make Britain feel civilised to fine people playing loud and unpleasant music on the bus or the train or anywhere else, quite frankly, in public? Andrew, is it high time someone took action on this one?
No, I mean, I don't think we should ban music. I mean, especially when you've got little ones, they use their tablets for long journeys, especially if they've got, things like ADHD, they need something to occupy the mind. But it's about bringing your children up correctly, to me, to ensure that they can be compassionate and whenever I'm on a train, I make sure he's got his headphones or it's down to a very low level. So I think we've actually got to start being kinder and more respectful where that's concerned.
Well, yeah, but what if people aren't? And it's not usually children.
Well, confiscate it.
But children you can kind of understand.
Confiscate
if they're listening, you think, oh, gosh, and then you might speak to the adult. But I'm talking about what we just saw there. Another adult just absolutely roaring their music out as if you're not there, as if they're at home in their own bedroom.
Yeah, so while I agree in terms of, there's an education piece about making sure young people learn in schools that you shouldn't do these things. But if there are adults there, you're going from A to B, you're on a bus, you're on a train, and people are loudly playing. And in fact, to be honest, I think they know it's frustrating and annoying other passengers, but they do it because they think there are no repercussions. They think, you dare not come up to me and approach me and tell me to switch off my music. So I think it just shows a lack of respect to other people's...
Yeah.
And what about, though, the idea of imposing fines? Who on earth is going to actually walk up and down buses?
Yeah,
no conductors anymore. Who's going to impose the fines?
That's what I mean. It's not going to be policed, is it? And the cost of even doing that, having someone on every bus, it's not workable.
And also, it's not only music, is it? It can be that people have these incredible one-sided telephone conversations, sometimes going on for hours, and sometimes as if it's their God-given right to sort of declaim, and sometimes they're talking to their gynaecologist, and you're just thinking, A, I wouldn't mind hearing the other side of the conversation, but B, hang on, mate, this is
what
private.
they did last night.
Yeah. I think just people need to be more mindful of their surroundings and who they're around, because I think the sad reality is, as a society, we don't care as much about our fellow citizen.
Bobby, how much would you fine somebody for playing loud music you don't
So
like?
I'm trying to think of like fines for cars and stuff, like parking on double yellows. I would say minimum 50 quid fine.
A 50 quid fine?
50 quid.
And you would impose this how exactly?
On the spot. Maybe I think like citizens reporting. If citizens can record you playing your music, they can send it off to some sort of anti-music... I love music, but not in public when you've not been sanctioned.
On the other hand, what if it's music that you adore? A little bit of Elgar, some Frank Sinatra, I don't know, the Oasis. I don't know what floats your musical boat.
I mean, I'm a soprano. I love singing, and I do like hearing music. If it's decent music on a train or something, it helps, pass the time. So, yeah, it's about getting the balance right, Vanessa, isn't it? And it's about being courteous and respectful to other passengers and not having it blasting out. I think that's and use headphones.
Would you ever dare, Bobby, to say to somebody, listen, I know you like that music, but I didn't sign up to it. Could you possibly
To be honest,
turn it down?
I changed my attitude. In my early days, my 20s, I used to be the kind of person that said, excuse me, sir, do you mind turning it down? But I realise now, probably the risk to myself is not worth the cost of intervening in that situation.
I mean, that's often the case, isn't it? I mean, I've been, for example, in the cinema, which is so expensive now, and, you've paid for your ticket, you're having, obviously an enormous bucket of popcorn in my case, very expensive, and you're trying to enjoy the film, and people are talking, laughing,
I don't understand.
kicking out. But you think, gosh, if I confront them, what's going to happen? You're kind of nervous
I do
to
confront them. I mean, I had a case on a train about a month ago. There was... I was on with my sister, the one who's just learnt to walk, and there was another disabled lady in front of her, and this woman just barged past this disabled lady who nearly went over, and I had to go up to her, and she was very ignorant, and I said, look, have you seen what you've just done? You've knocked that poor lady, virtually knocked her over. And I got abuse off her. She was very rude, but in the end she went and apologised that lady.
Oh, she did. Well, you must have been very convincing, Andrea,
Yeah.
and also
No,
quite
'cause
brave to do it.
It was wrong, I thought, really. Yeah.
I mean, but that's the thing. It's the thing about, it's wrong, but do I dare front it up and say something, or would I rather just go home intact and not say a word? And lots of us are scared to do it. Sometimes though, you say something, and afterwards you think, God, why did I say that?
Yeah.
I could have got a real dressing down.
Yeah.
And I said it to someone who was spitting in the street the other day. I said, what a revolting thing to do.
Oh, good for you.
The person looked at me. I thought, oh my God, I should never have said a word, and thought, oh Lord.
Yes.
Luckily it was all right. Anyway, Becky on X says, it is irritating, but I'm not sure we should always automatically go for fine them or ban them buttons. And Susan on Facebook says, it is so irritating. And so are people who have loud conversations, as I was just saying, on the phone. Whatever your thoughts, you could always pick up the phone and give us a call in a nice, polite voice at great decibels, civilised decibels. Alice is on the line in Manchester. Hi, Alice.
Good morning, Vanessa. Second time talking to you in a week.
Oh, how lovely.
Wow.
We must make a habit of this, Alice. We must keep on talking.
Oh, well, you are lovely to talk to.
Oh,
lovely
you're
to
very
listen to
kind to say
anyway.
so. Thank you very, very much. Tell me, though, about these people playing their music, and it's always someone else's choice, not necessarily your choice.
What are we talking about? Do you talk about the fining?
Yes, talking about whether you're listening to somebody else's call or
it
their
sounds
music.
good, but in practice, who's going to do the fining? It's ridiculous, because I travel by bus daily, and I get these idiots who do this, and I get to the point where I just turn around and I say, do you mind? You're not the only one travelling on this bus. And then they then, sort of stop doing it. If they are going to try and stop them, I think the best way is to get the bus driver to stop the bus and say, if you don't stop doing that, you're going to have to get off the bus.
And imagine all the other
That's the only
passengers,
way,
though,
because
Alice.
I don't think fines will work, Vanessa.
But Alice, all the other passengers will turn on you. They're all in a hurry. They've all got lives to lead. They're on the bus, and you get the driver to stop because you don't like somebody's heavy metal track that actually quite a few of the people on the bus are loving, and they're all clicking along. And you're the party pooper. You're the one that stopped the bus. You're brave, Alice, if you dare to do that.
Vanessa, I can assure you there are no buses like that where the passengers approve.
I'm not sure. Occasionally, I've got a neighbour that plays very loud music, and my hackles are just about to rise.
Yeah.
I'm in the garden, I'm thinking tranquility, bird song, and then there's a moment where I think, oh, well, actually, this is a great track. I love this track. And then I think, well, I can't possibly complain because I like the music. I mean, Bobby, the idea, Alice's idea, Alice is somebody, isn't she? She's thinking, right, stop the bus.
I think, again, sometimes if there are other sort of altercations on a bus, going confrontations, the bus driver will stop and wait till that incident is dealt with or someone's removed from the bus. So there is precedent for that. But I quite like the idea of actually on a bus. Yes, again, we've had ideas on the show today.
Yes.
So if an incident happens, like music's being played, someone who's a public transport person, they can log the time and they can track CCTV on the bus, lots of CCTV on buses, and work out when it happened, and they can probably try and identify the person.
But it's the cost of police time when there's far more important crimes that they should be tackling. Actually,
It just brings back memories of Morecambe and Wise saying, in the crime against civilization, we'll be playing a Des O'Connor track. God bless him. Do you remember that when he was the butt of everybody's jokes?
Yeah.
Let's bring in David on the line in Birmingham. Hi, David. Morning.
Hello there, all right, are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, hope you are. Tell me about loud music from somebody else's device on a bus or a train.
To be perfectly honest, there's more important things in the world to worry about than silly things like that. It doesn't really bother me at all, personally.
You haven't been blasted by Mantovani and thought, God, I can't stand this. I can't bear it. I'm just trying to read the paper or think my own private thoughts and this is ruining my life?
No, I mean, I've heard things on the bus and it doesn't really bother me. I can't say as I like it, but it doesn't bother me. I mean, the way I look at it is, what should you be more concerned about? Somebody walking on the bus playing loud music, or somebody walking on the bus threatening everybody with a knife or a gun or something?
Well, both, I think, and you would have thought you could be concerned about both. One, obviously, much more frightening than the other, but both, you might say, an irritant and antisocial behaviour, that ASBO situation, David. Let's talk to Robin in Gloucestershire. Hi, Robin.
Oh, hi, Vanessa.
Morning. What do you think about this one?
I think there are earphones and there are earbuds, and that's what I use. I wouldn't dream of invading anybody's space with some music, and they particularly wouldn't like my music anyway.
What What music would you be playing? What would you be listening to out of choice?
Usually Bach or Mozart, but that's, that's my favourite, or something like that. But yeah, no, what I think should be fine, on a plane trip once, there were 3 English lads, and actually the whole conversation they were having was just obscene. I mean, I've never heard women publicly talked about in such a disgusting way. Why they're not fined, I don't know.
An excellent point, and maybe we should talk about that in another Jeremy Vine programme, because, yes, you make a good point. Also, when they use utterly foul language and you've got babies or little children with you, you just think, hang on, why is that all right? Anyway, lots to say on this subject. Thank you so much to Robin. After the break, it's